Welcome to our very first episode of Tech Talk. On today's topic is I love AI. Do you use AI? Do you use ChatGPT? I love ChatGPT. Do you use ChatGPT? Enough with the jokes. Today we're going to be talking about AI engineering. We're going to be talking about what it is, how to get into it. I'll give you a few tips on how to get into it faster. We're going to make some differences between AI engineering and software engineering. And most importantly, we're going to be talking about it in the South African context. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. So, what exactly is an AI engineer? Because it sounds fancy. Let's break it down. So, an AI engineer is someone who builds system and products using AI. And no, I'm not talking about vibe coding. Specifically, they work with pre-built models, the likes of Claude, ChatGPT, and they use them to build real software. They are not the ones building them from scratch. That's an entirely different job. Think of it this way: a model researcher bakes the cake, that is the model. An AI engineer takes the cake and turns it into a restaurant menu, figuring out how to package it and how to serve it so actual people will be able to use it. So that is the final product that you interact with. Let's make a real distinction between AI engineer and software engineer. And of course, I'm going to start with software engineer. We write our logic from scratch and our code from scratch. Well, mostly. We build with code and data, and we write code that is predictable and, as I would call it, deterministic output. And we debug with error logs, and we focus on reliability and performance and efficiency. So we build applications and software that we already know how it's going to work, and we work with errors that we can see within the error logs, and we provide that to the client. What about AI engineer though? As I've mentioned, they build on top of AI models. That would be the likes of ChatGPT, Cloud, DeepSeek, and whatnot. And they work with prompts, APIs, and embeddings. And the huge difference is they work with probabilistic output. So the model has an entire behavior of its own. It's not something that you know that if you're gonna say one, it's gonna be two. Hence, the next point is they focus on accuracy and safety to make sure that the model always outputs something that is relevant to what the actual user is requesting. Hope that is clear. Let's move. And here's the honest truth: most AI engineers are just software engineers who learned new tools. The difference is not the degree, it's the mindset. You're no longer writing the rule for yourself, but now we are working with a model that has its own behavior, and your job is to shape and control that behavior for a real use case that will benefit a client or someone in the real world. I've been saying that they build on top of AI models, but what exactly do they build? So they build things like chatbots, AI search, document summarizers, coding assistants, AI agents, which a big part of the job is prompt engineering, designing the instructions that will tell a model how to behave and to make sure it sticks to that. They then connect those models to databases, APIs, and user interfaces so that the normal person can interact with it. And I will say that's why we come in by the APIs and the interfaces if you're front end of course. Now, if you're trying to become an AI engineer fast, I'll be upfront with you. You can't just rely on watching tutorial. At some point, you have to start building real things, and that's where a lot of people really struggle. They understand the theory and everything, but when it comes to building and working with API and building AI features, they don't really have the clue where to start. So if you really want a hands-on learning platform, the best I've found so far is DataCamp, our today's sponsor. Let's get into it. In particular, I've been going through their Associate AI Engineer Developers track. What I love the most is how practical it is. The learning is structured around actually building skills you will use in real world AI applications. The track covers all key areas such as working with OpenAI API, gets me every time, prompt engineering, developing AI systems, LLM OPS concepts, and that's the key point. You actually go from understanding AI at a high level and actually building real world application hands on. And if you're coming from a data background, their associate AI engineer for data scientists goes deeper into machine learning fundamentals, deep learning with PyTorch, working with Hugging Face model repository, fine tuning foundation models, and so much more in between that I can't even pronounce. So if you're also new and you have no experience, relax, man. We still got you. Look at this. So for the beginner or someone who's just getting started, we have the AI fundamentals tracks, which focus on solid foundation, understanding AI, core concept in machine learning, and being exposed to tools like ChatGPT and how they work in the background. So it doesn't matter if you're new or you're leveling up, we still got you. You know this. And the cherry on top is if you complete these tracks, there's an industry recognized certification that you can get, which you can use to show off your skills. We all know you like showing off. So if you're interested in getting started in your AI engineering journey, doesn't matter whether you are starting out, you're from the data, we have a track for you. The links are in the description. Make sure to check it out and give me an actual feedback on how your journey is going. Links in the description. Cheers. Let's move on to talk about the skills that you need to get into AI engineering. And to make this fair, I'm gonna do this in the South African context so that you are ready and when you go out there, you have an idea what AI engineering actually is in the context of South Africa because context really matters. Let's do this in 7 steps. I'm gonna assume that you have a bit of background into programming. If you do, this is gonna be a walk in the park for you. The first step is Python. You don't need to be a Python expert, but you need to be able to understand, read, and write code using Python. If you're already familiar with JavaScript, this might be just be a walk in the park for you. So that's the first step. Understand a bit of Python because most libraries, almost everything is built using Python. We move to the second step, which is learn how to work with AI models. This is where the API word that I've been throwing around comes into play. Start calling the APIs. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they all work the same way. You send a message, you get a response. But where you make the real difference and make it count is when you now go a level deeper into prompt engineering. Don't just get a response back. Structure your message so that the response you get back is more predictable and sticks within the relevant topic that you're talking about or whatever that you want to receive back. Second step, that is. Let's move into the third step. Third step, you give your AI memory. Simple, right? You take it 12 gigs, give it to the AI. I'm joking. This is where embeddings and vector databases come in. Right now, your AI knows nothing about your specific data, and RAG is the technique that helps us to solve this. You store your documents as embeddings, and when a user asks a question, you fetch the relevant chunks and feed it to the model. And tools to know include Pinecone, Weaviate, and even just pgvector in Postgres. Step 4, we chain things together now because single API calls will only get you that far. Now we need to build a real AI product, and real AI products need to search, reason, decide, and come to some kind of conclusion. So it is a workflow. This is where orchestration frameworks like LangChain come in. That's one of the things that you'll have to check. Let's move on to the next step. We're getting somewhere now. So we're at step 5, and you need to learn how to measure quality. You will learn this by building evals. These are tests that will tell you if your product is actually working the way it's supposed to. This will help you to catch hallucinations. And the first thing that you need to do is define what working is for a specific use case or for your context so that you can get better scoring and you'll be able to score your software or your product into your right definition or use case. Step 6, my favorite of all. You've gone through all of the steps. Now it's time to build a real world product. Build something from end to end that can take care of multiple steps, search, reason, decide, and all of that come into a conclusion. Put it out there. That's my final step because I'm gonna be missed to start because I always tell people to start. So you need to start building as soon as you can. Once you are able to grasp all of these concepts, even at a fundamental level, build a chatbot, build something, an AI assistant of some sort, and document it, put it out there. That is the last step. You need to start building. Coming back to the South African context, I've had a couple of conversations with people who holds the title of AI engineer, and a kind of pattern that I've picked up is AI is still emerging in South Africa as much as it's out there, but companies are still adopting it. And what is an AI engineer in South Africa is definitely different from what it is in other places. But all I can tell you is the skills I've mentioned here, they are all relevant to that. And as much as you'll be an AI engineer, you might be a bit exposed into the data space. You might be exposed into the software engineering space because these roles are new in the space and people are still figuring it out and how to structure this within a business while other companies are still adopting it. So when you're heading to the space, this is the perfect time for people in South Africa to actually get into the space. I would highly recommend the Associate AI Engineer for developers if you're in the development space, and all the tracks that I've actually included this here that were our sponsor. Really good if you're starting out and for you to actually understand what really happens within the AI space so that when you get into that specific role, because I've seen a couple companies actually hiring for those AI engineer roles, including FNB, Bed Software, and all of these huge corporations, but they are definitely still trying to figure out how to structure their role based off the people that I've spoken to and what I've seen in the industry. And most of the people that are self-proclaimed software engineers are also in that space as well of figuring out how to structure that role within the specific company. So do keep that in mind. It's not gonna be as plain as textbook as I've said that you're gonna be building this directly from that and this and that. It's definitely gonna be still some learning, definitely still some learning and some adjusting to these new roles. But the time is now. I've laid out the steps. There's a lot of data that you can be able to use that I've actually spoken about. Just start. Start by using that API. Start by building something and getting into the right space. Make sure you post it out there. Make sure you put it on GitHub, obviously, even if you're not a software engineer, but still you will need version control and you will need to put your things out there so people will have access to it. So with that said, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I hope you got context within the AI engineering space, and hopefully we'll have more of these sessions and I'll have more guests as well to come speak to you about more things in tech. Thank you for having me. I'll see you on Sunday.